Okay, overall, I think it was a very good day. The weather was great. Our kids got a chance to get out in front of the crowd and play football. And, really what stood out to me is our number one defense. When our starters were out there, I thought they had an excellent day. Our number one offense, I thought, had a very good day too. And, we got a chance to let everybody play and do their thing. Daniel Carlson, once again, is showing why he's the best kicker in college football. And that last one, I think, would have been good for another 5 yards. So there was no major injuries, so that is always a good thing. And but overall, I think it was a very successful day, and that really caps off really our main work for spring. We will have a practice Tuesday, but it'll be a cleanup, helmet only, and we'll just do some minor things. But overall, I thought it was a very solid day. Questions? And I would say this, I'd like to thank our former All-Americans that came out and they were honored right there. It's always big for our players and our coaches to have those guys back, and really appreciate them coming back.
Coach Jared, 16 of 20, just your thoughts of how he played today.
I thought he managed the offense well. I thought that he protected the football. That's really where it starts, number one thing. And it was good for him to get out there in front of a crowd. He hadn't been out in front of a crowd playing football in a long time. And so, I think overall it was good for him. And, it looked like the receivers made some plays too. We've been talking about the young receivers, and, they're growing up a little bit. And I thought that there was times that group, did well receiving.
Gus, last year, throwing downfield was problematic most of the year. Conscious effort today, or blown assignments, or?
That's really what Chip's plan. We talked about being more balanced, and I know coming into this thing, he was telling the offense he wanted to be somewhere around 50-50 run pass, and I think it was close to that. And and hey, we know we're going to be pretty good at running the football like traditionally we have, but we got to get better at throwing the football, and that's really been a focus this spring. And we're just really working on that balance, and so that's really what we've been working on.
I know it's a spring game, but did Jared kind of have the day you'd want him to have?
Like I said, I think the big thing is I thought he was successful managing the offense, protecting the football. I thought overall, like I said, the first offense I thought did some really good things.
He punted a lot today. You looking at him being punted?
Well, Ian Shannon had he had a death in the family that he needed to be at the funeral and everything with that. So Daniel did the punting and the kicking. And Daniel's done some punting probably the last half of spring too. And, just to get some good competition there. And, he did it as a true freshman. So he's in the middle of that competition.
Gus, you knew that Jared was a big, deep thrower from his time at Baylor. You said all spring how many deep plays he had. He has 4 plays over 30 yards, a 50-yarder. Sean White's career long is 48 yards. Just how big a disparity is there in the vertical passing game between them?
I wouldn't say. Sean White's done a great job in 7-on-7. Hit a lot of vertical shots too right there. I just think the first offense is playing pretty good right now, and I think our receivers are starting to take that next step. But Sean White, with what he's been able to do in the spring, I thought he's improved and done a good job. So it's hard to talk disparity right now, just from spring.
Yes, can you talk about offense and defense from practice 1 through A-Day?
Really what stood out to me is, and I think I said this early in spring, but our defense, our first defense, has really taken a step forward, and they've been a handful. And today, it was really the first time that we went 1s against 2s and 2s against 1s. It's been 1s against 1s. It's been a battle, and overall, I would say, the defense has probably got the best of the offense as far as overall spring, but you can tell that both groups are taking that step forward. And, I think both groups have improved. And we've worked hard on our kicking game too. We probably spent a little more time than we have in the past in the spring and kicking game too. And like I said, overall, I'm pleased with where we're at now that spring's coming to end. And like I said, a big part of the spring game, really from a head coach's standpoint, is just the stress of major injuries right there. And I think we're in good shape right now, and have all our guys ready to go, for fall camp.
Carry on.
He had an ankle injury. I think it was just a sprain, is what they were telling me, and so he should be fine.
You said nothing major for him, but was he disappointed? He's trying to fight that kind of injury-prone label, and he
Tim Horton talked about keeping him healthy. Was he disappointed at all?
He's been healthy all spring. I just think it was just one of those things, but it doesn't alarm me or anything like that. But he's had an excellent spring.
What we saw today from Nate Craig Myers and Will Hastings, is that a continuation of what you've seen this spring, and two guys you feel like you can really count on going in the summer?
Yeah, and I think those guys have kind of taken that next step, and that was the challenge that Cody had for his whole group. They have experience from last year, but now it's time to take that next step, and there's nothing better than doing it out there in the game field in front of a crowd and all that. And so hopefully that'll give them a shot in the arm going into the off season and getting ready for fall.
You talked about Jared handling the offense, but what do you think of Malik in that regard?
For a guy that still should be in high school, I think he's really, doing some things that really have impressed, Coach Lindsey, and I thought he managed the offense. I think he took a sack or two today, but that's just from being young. But, overall, he's had a solid spring.
Has he surprised you at all this spring?
We knew we recruited him. He's talented. It's just a matter of, trying to pick up the offense quick. But overall, I think he's had a solid. I mean, he's just needs to keep improving.
Woody didn't rotate him in the second half. Any reason for not giving him
I'm not for sure. I know Chip had a plan, for what groups with everything. So, I'm not for sure.
Were you able to make much of a on-the-field determination just as far as the shuffling of the offensive line? Tega went over left tackle, Darius went to right.
Yeah, and that's been probably the last couple of weeks. We really wanted to give Tega an opportunity to get with the ones and see how he reacted. He's a guy that I think's had a very good spring. And, Herb's talked about mix and match and just trying to find the right, pieces of the puzzle and try to develop depth too. So, that's something that Herb's done probably the last 2 weeks, something similar to that.
It looked like Jared really didn't hesitate a few times about rolling out of the pocket, and obviously had a non-contact jersey on, but just how big of an asset that can be, his ability to move.
Yeah, well, he can run. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, obviously it's tough when you're in orange jerseys and all that, but, he can run. And, what's really all the quarterbacks we have, have the ability to make some plays with their feet. And so that's always, a good thing.
Paul James, defensive MVP.
Yeah.
Rodney talked about wanting to see something from him today. Big day.
Yeah.
What'd you see from him?
Yeah, I know Rodney's been challenging him, and you can see him improving. And, one play that really stood out to me is there was a read zone, with Malik. And, he baited him in to keeping the football and then came back and just made a really good change of direction play. But, he's one of those guys that, Coach Garner's trying to develop depth and to get quality depth. And so it was really good to see him, perform well.
It didn't look like Petway was active today. Is that by nature?
Yeah, that was by design. Petway's had a very good spring, and, he's been healthy and all that. So that was just a coach's decision to, get him to fall.
On that injury last year by Malik Miller, do you like what you're seeing this spring out of him?
Yeah, he stayed healthy, and I think he's done some good things. And, the running back, I know Tim's really trying to get quality depth at that position. And, all those young guys have really got a chance probably the last 2 or 3 weeks to rotate with the ones too. And I know when you do that, you can really evaluate your running back. So you can't have enough depth in our league at running back.
What do you like about his running style, and who's he compared to on the team? Is he about as close as you get that way?
He's a big guy, and when he runs with his pads low, I mean, he can move the pile, and he's got a little bit in his hips. He's got good vision, so, he's a very solid running back.
Do you still intend to take the quarterback competition into fall camp?
Yeah, we're still going to do the same plan and give Sean a chance to compete.
There's a lot of buzz around Jared after this game, though. Were you worried about that at all going on the offseason?
What's that?
There's going to be a lot of buzz around Jared after today's game. Are you worried about that at all with him?
No. Our team knows. I mean, I think it's a good thing. When your players play good, I think it's a good thing. It ain't a bad thing.
That's a little off topic, but we won't get you until after the vote. You said you wanted a 10th assistant. You supported that. Do you know where you put the 10th assistant if that gets approved?
We'll see. I mean, I've got some ideas, but I'm not set on any one thing. But hopefully it'll pass. That'd be good. And, I'd like to also thank, all of our former Auburn alums also, okay? And I'm going to do my own Twitter from now on, too, okay? So I just wanted to say that. You go with anyone on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all.